Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another live stream, the final one for the week. My name is Grey Eagle, some pilot. I'm a real world A320 captain, bringing my love for flight simulation and aviation to all of you wonderful people out there. How's everyone doing this evening? We have Aviation Geek in the stream this evening. Howdy, how are you doing? Glad you're able to make this one live in real time. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream we had yesterday coming into Denver, and now hopefully you'll get to enjoy the one as we leave Denver going out to Springfield, Ohio. No, not Ohio. There's way too many Springfields. Massachusetts? No, that's not the right one. Missouri, that's the one. Yeah, so Springfield, Missouri is where we're going to be heading out in the United Airlines Battleship Grey. Hello, Draco. 1588 says up. Great. How are you doing, Draco? Hopefully you're having a great evening this evening. But without further ado, let's get to it. We'll go ahead and hop onto the flight deck here. And of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is doing what it does best, which is this weird dark hole thing. I have no clue. Ed E, how are you doing this evening, Ed E? Thank you for joining the stream. He says hello. Hey, how you, Great Eagle? Welcome, 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 welcome. Hopefully you're having a great evening there, Eddie. We'll go ahead and import our flight plan here. T-minus 43 minutes. Plenty of time to get things going. 172 people to load up to go this evening out to where are we headed to? Springfield. There we go. So we'll go ahead and load the aircraft. We'll do boarding and refueling via GSX. There we go. And I did not mean to press that, but again, obviously Flight Sim 2024 doing 2024 things. Let's go ahead and get the R's aligned. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. We'll come on down to our recorder ground control, turn that on, and we will go ahead and give that a nice little test. Oh, let me go ahead and turn some of the volume on here for a few of the things we have here. There we go. And now you should be able to hear the simulator. Alrighty, let's go ahead and test the CVR. There we go. That test checks out. Excellent. Everything else on this panel looks good. We'll come up and test our fire on engine 1. We'll test the fire on engine 2. Or, sorry, the APU. Then lastly, engine 2. Excellent. Hydraulic and fuel looks good. Electrical panel is all set. We can go ahead and test the batteries if we really want to. It's getting better. There we go. Air conditioning panel looks good. Engine anti-ice is all check. Cabin pressurization. That all looks good. Our external lights are set how I want them to. Let's go ahead and get the APU started at this time. Excellent. While that starts up, we'll go ahead and arm the emergency exit lights. We'll come over to the first officer side of the overhead. We'll turn the PA to about the 3 o'clock position. We got VHF and data. That looks good. Yeah, we'll leave this right about there. How about that? That should be fine. Excellent. The rest of that panel looks good. We'll come on down to the main glare shield here. I'm getting like crazy bad frames. I restarted the sim right before the stream, so hopefully it's gonna take care of some of that. But like I'm getting like crazy stuttering. On the glare shield from left to right, we have we want to make sure all of our lights are extinguished on the glare shield. On the EFIS panel here, we want the flight director on. Our QNH is 3001. We got constraint arc 10 nautical miles, and we don't need the VOR ADFs. That looks good. The center of CU, we want digits or numbers displayed here, heading and vertical speed with all the push buttons extinguished. Same thing on the first officer side. We don't need the VOR ADFs. We want 10 nautical miles arc. Constraints 3001 is the altimeter. The flight director is on. Excellent. We'll go ahead and start a chrono for the APU, and all the push buttons on his side are extinguished. Excellent. Coming down to the main instrument panel, PFD on the left, ND on the right. Our ISIS is aligned. Upper and lower ECAM displays are in the correct orientation. Brake fans off, landing gears down 3 green with the anti-skid nozzle steering on. The date and time are approximately correct, so that looks good. The landing gear is down with no red arrow, that looks good. On the first officer side, we have the ND on the left, PFD on the right. We can adjust the brightness how we need to. On the FMGC, we're going to go ahead and check the database. We got 2527 A5s, that looks good with a valid database. Let's go ahead and go to the init page here. We shall request our flight plan. Our RMP looks good. ECP looks good. Integral lighting is set how we want it to be set there. Radar is off, PWS is off. We'll come up here to the center of the instrument panel. We'll press our sleepers are idle. Engine masters are off, engine mode norm. Speed brakes retracted, flaps are up. We have something displayed on the rudder trim, that window there, and our gravity gear extension is stowed. We'll go over to the first officer side here. Let's go ATSU, AOC menu, received messages, load sheet, and we will accept that and leave that there. Excellent. His RMP and ACP look good. Lights are set how we need to. And we get an ATC code of 0625. That all looks good. 80 says he has a question. My Fenix did not follow the flight plan today. Is that a 2024 thing, or would that be on my side? I think that's going to be on your side, Eddie, because for like the last few months now, I would say a few months, I've been streaming almost exclusively in Flight Simulator 2024, and I have not had an issue with the Fenix not following the flight path. Whenever you are making modifications to the flight plan, always verify what's going on up on your always verify what's going on up here. So you're gonna have you're gonna have your different enunciation modes here. You want to verify if you're a nav or heading. You want to verify if you're in climb, cruise, descent, or vertical speed. And you always want to verify your modes right here, because sometimes what'll happen is you'll modify a flight plan here, and what it will do is it will either revert to a heading mode, or it may revert to like a vertical speed mode. So you always want to make sure that you check what mode you're in. Aviation Geek says, I'm at Waffle House. Well, that is a great place to be. I call it the Awful Waffle, but I do have a few of my favorite meals that I like to eat there at the Waffle House. Aviation Geek, so I can't judge you on that. All right, let's go ahead and get into programming the FMC, shall we? So I'll bring this up here. I'll move it on over to the right hand side. We're going to be United Airlines, UAL 3318. Excellent. We'll pop that in there. Our cost index is going to be 18. Excellent. We're going to be cruising along at an altitude of 35,000 feet, so we'll do 350 with a ISA deviation of 5 plus 5, so that's going to be 38 degrees. There we go. So slant 38. There we go. The current outside air temperature, we'll go ahead and pull an ATIS real quick. You've been here since 3:30 p.m. You have been hanging out there for quite some time then. I mean, hopefully, is the coffee free there? I feel like the coffee, like if you order a coffee, the refills are free at the Waffle House. I'm not too sure, but hopefully you are nice and caffeinated there. 24 degrees out there in Denver, so we'll go ahead and pop that right in there. We'll go to init B here. I'll get rid of our tablet real quick. Take off. No, we want a zero fuel of 132.9. So 132.9 with a CG of 32.8. So we'll do 32.8. There we go. And a block fuel We're looking at a block fuel of 17.2. So we'll go ahead and throw that in there. I'll zero out our route reserve since our flight plan takes care of that for us. We'll go flight plan. Denver, we're going to expect runway 8 according to our clearance. It's going to be off the EPI 7 Gator transition. There we go. There we go. And let's go ahead and scroll up a little bit. There we go. Oh, that looks good. It's pretty much direct Springfield VOR. So there we go. Let's go ahead and do the arrival. There's no stars. So we'll do the RNAV to runway 32. No star. The Vias. Yeah, why not? Let's see. Do I have that in there? Retta. Alright, that looks good. I'll put that in there. Hopefully it doesn't have the hold in there. If it has the hold, I'll take the V out. Yeah, okay, so what I'll do is I'll take the V out. No VIA. We'll insert that. Airport. Yeah, we got Retha, Appel, and then Springfield. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and uplink our winds and get some performance data, shall we? Oh. Okay, just want to make sure. Might have to do something here real quick. I thought I do not have these two. Okay, so no problem. Here, here's what I need to do real quick. Yep.
Would you like the visual 16 right or the visual 16 left?
We'll take the visual 16 right. We'll do the standard go on if you can.
Not the 50 heavy Raj, you can expect that.
There's that.
Should I switch you in command?
And then one more view that I need to.
I'm not really busy tonight, so if you want, I can just vector you back in.
Yeah, copy. You may do that. Delta 50 heavy.
There we go. That should. All right, sweet. All right, so let's go ahead and get some performance numbers, shall we? We'll sink a preliminary at 2,000 pounds. What was that? Got to be 151.7. There we go. 151.7. And we'll leave that as is since that's pretty much a crosswind. We'll go ahead and send that to the make-do. Excellent. Let's go back down here to our performance. That looks like it all. Ooh, wow, flaps 3 takeoff. Okay. It is what it is. And let's do a 290 knot descent. We can copy our active. There's no engine out procedure since we're heading away from the mountain, so that's good. Alrighty. And lastly, what we need to do is come up here. The IRs are aligned. Ground control is on to catch our briefing and checklist. We can turn terrain on ND. Oh, I did not check our fluid levels. It's kind of like a gimme because the Fenix will just always have it unless you have failures off. And that looks good. Excellent. And I didn't do a alternate brake system check. So let's go ahead and I'll press both brakes down. Release the parking brake. Release left brake. Press it back down, right brake, press it back down, and we'll set the parking brake again. And I can let go of the brakes there. Brakes are set. ACP looks good, RMP is good. Let's go to data and position monitor. We can bring our tablet back up. And we're looking for 3951.7. We got 3951.6 and 104, 40.4, or 104, 40.3. That looks good to me. Excellent. Our ND looks mostly good there. The orientation is correct. We have on the PFD V1, V2, have alt. Oh, because I didn't set the top altitude there, which on the EPI I think is 230. So we'll go ahead and put in 230. There we go. We have V1, V2, climate nav, blue flight directors 1 and 2. And lastly, we can check our oxygen before we do a route verification and briefing. Eddie says, okay, thanks for that. Yeah, I did change the departure runway, but I thought I updated everything. Maybe not. Sometimes that happens. So there's like a whole little list you got to go through. things to check before when you change your runway. It can be kind of work intensive for one pilot to do, especially if you're taxing out. There's a few things you got to do, and usually whenever you change a runway, it always inserts a discontinuity at the end of the star or SID. So you always want to check that you get rid of that discontinuity whenever you change a runway. I'm drinking sweet tea. Oh, that's the Southern Way, isn't it, Aviation Geek? It is the Southern Way. There we go. You know what? I was at one of the restaurants down south not too long ago, and they had this interesting sweet tea, so I had to try it. I was like, but before I did it, I asked the manager, do you kind of like it? He was like, no, but I don't like sweet tea. And I was like, you do realize you're in the South, right? So that was kind of funny. I ran into someone who didn't like sweet tea and lives in the South. So you never know who you're going to run into down here. So let's go ahead. Let me bring up my route real quick. And let's go ahead and verify our route real quick. If some brief will ever pop up. There we go. So let's see here. We'll go plan 10 nautical miles, and we have runway 8. That looks good. We'll depart runway 8 on a 083 heading to intercept this course, 106 course to Kidding. It's going to be at or below 10,000 feet. I should probably bring up the SID so I can verify that. There we go. At or below 10,000 feet, then we're going to have Piddle. And then a Poo. At or below, or APU, however you want to say that, at or above 14,000 feet. Then Epke at or above 15,000 feet. From there, we're going to go to Poison. And then lastly, Gator. From Gator, we will proceed direct to this random waypoint fix here, and then direct to Springfield, and we'll set up for the RNAV there. We have 582 miles, and we got 588 here in the box, so that's reasonable. Looks like we're all done boarding up here, so let's go ahead and run a quick briefing. Look over at our Ghost FO and ask him what threats he have. Well, high altitude is the biggest threat here, and I would have to agree with that. We can plan on pushing back and taxiing to runway 8, which is up here. We're here. We'll go here. We'll probably go out whatever this taxiway is here. What taxiway is that? That is going to be Bravo November. Okay, so Bravo November, and probably Mike. Mike takes us all the way up to the end there, to runway 8. When we do get there, it's going to be flaps 3, Lex, standard reject considerations. Any questions about what we need to reject the takeoff for? Nope. In the event of an engine failure after V1, we'll continue straight ahead to about 10,000 feet. We'll clean up the aircraft, work the ECAM, and make our return back to 17 left, right, any one of the south runways. We have plenty of runway for all the south runways there. Otherwise, we will continue out on the SID. Flight level 230 is the top altitude. Our departure frequency, we have center online, so there it is there. We got Unicom in the secondary radio. We're squawking 0625. Anything you'd like to add to that? Nope. Excellent. Max Racing says, howdy, how are you doing, Max Racing? Welcome. Glad you're able to make it out to another live stream here. This one, the first evening stream, right, of the week. So glad you're able to make it out to a stream. Hopefully you're having a fantastic evening, Max Racing. So with all of that done, let's go up top. We can go ahead and get our fuel pump on, fuel pumps on, external power could come off, APU bleed can come on, beacon light can come on, our seatbelt sign can come on.
Final approach course, clear visual approach, runway 16 right.
140 for visual.
There we go. All of our doors are armed. Let's check our fuel balanced on board. Pumps are on. That looks good. Hydraulics look good. Our pressurization is in auto with a landing elevation, and our engine oil looks good there. Excellent. I can go ahead and stop this clock from running, and we can do a before start checklist. Okay, recorder ground control is on. Platforms and maintenance log on board reviewed. Aircraft 4969. That's the one. That's 4696. I think is that's what it is. 4696. It's right here. 4696. There we go. Fuel quantity. 17.2 required. 17.2 on board. Takeoff performance, we have 146, 150, 152 with a flex 57. Oxygen is checked. Seatbelt sign is on. ECAM is checked. Our parking brake is on and checked. MCDU set. Altimeter's 3001 set thrice. Departure briefing is review. The before start checklist is complete. There we go. I guess let me check our clearance here to see if I need to call for push. Contact for push. Yep, yeah, he wants us to contact him for push. So there we go. Hello, Center. United 3318 is ready for pushback with information. I already forgot the code.
United 3318 Denver Tower, push and start approved. Push straight back, stop at the first line and advise when is active.
Alrighty, push straight back at the first line, advise ready to taxi. We have information Delta for United 3318. Alrighty, so it's going to be a straight back push. We will stop at the first one. So let's make sure everything is disconnected here. Yep, we can go ahead and disconnect that. I'm gonna go outside. Yep, you're doing. Oh, look at that! I even got the matching GSX. That's amazing. So the first line is gonna be this line right here. Kind of hard to see, but that's the lines we're gonna do. Continue pushback. Pushback, manual stop. Alright, so we'll release the parking brake.
We'll keep the traffic in mind and we're to the lane runway 7 for South 16.3.
Excellent, excellent. Have you flown with anyone who switched from a wide body? If so, does it have any recourse? I haven't. No, I haven't. Nope, that's not a thing. Wide body life, as some of my friends have said, is a different life. So hasn't been something that people come back from. So like I said, I think it was a few weeks ago, ran into one of my old classmates from my initial training at the regionals, and she's on the wide body and absolutely loves it. Okay. We can stop right here. Perfect. Stop here. Complete the pushback procedure. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to wait for him to say set brakes. There we go. Brakes are set. I'm going to turn up the volume. Let's get this engine started. He said, I know there's a wide body off yourselves on YouTube because weeks without flying. Well, I know you have a A330 driver who flies the A330. Obviously, he's European based. I don't know where in Europe he's based at, but he's a real world A330 pilot. So he definitely, I don't know, like he always seems to be right on top of all the latest news and bits and stuff like that. So who knows how much he is actually flying either. But he definitely seems to have a lot of time on his hands to be able to make all the videos that he makes, because he cranks out those videos. I mean, the millisecond a release is up, he already a release where the sim is out, he's already made a video on it. Alrighty, I think that's a good start on one of the engines. Let's take a look and start the other engine, shall we?
Southwest 1623, welcome in Denver. Exit this first high speed to your left, taxi Bravo 4 when able to stay parking.
And if we could just hold short right as we exit the runway so you could figure it out.
I never seen your info on the A320. Then move. Oh, are you talking about Geek on the Flight Deck? Is that his YouTube name? Geek on the Flight Deck? Something like that, Geek in the Cockpit. There is that, I think that's his name, Darren Bird. I think his channel is like Geek in the Cockpit or Geek on the Flight Deck or something like that. Yeah, I have definitely seen a few of his videos, and he definitely seems like he is enjoying life on the 777, so which is really good for him. So it is it definitely is a lot of one and done flying, which is absolutely fun. And now he's constantly on reserve, anti-block. Well, I mean, it really, all of that stuff is, everything in the airline world is highly seniority driven. Come on, I hope this isn't going to be a thing. All right, I'm actually getting frames. Like I said, I had to restart the sim because it was doing this like stutter thing. So I don't know what's going on here. Let's go ahead and look down here. We will return. You said yep, yeah, that's who I thought it was. Yep, definitely him. Let's see, we have 133.0, so put 133.0 in there, and 32.8. That looks good. I'll go ahead and put that in there. I'll bring that back, and let's go ahead and go flaps 3, shall we? After start checklist. Engine anti-ice we don't need. Status is checked. The rudder trim is 0. After start checklist is complete. Just for the sake of me not taxiing and trying to do things at the same time, let's go ahead and do the before takeoff checklist right here. We'll do the flight control check. Pull up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. We'll do the rudders. Full left, full right, neutral. It might just be because I'm a state of pilot, but I like being able to constantly fly. Oh yeah, 100%. The phase you're in right now is definitely like a building phase, 100%. Every hour is, a critical hour. And even then, like, I'm not gonna lie, just because, I mean, he's not flying that often, doesn't mean he doesn't enjoy it. I mean, there's, like I said in 1 or 2 streams ago, like, it's just, when you take off and that gear goes up, all the rest of the world just disappears, man. And that's one of the great things about flying and aviation is when you're up in the sky, it's just you in the sky. nothing else really matters. For a few hours at a time, you just disappear and can get lost in a moment. So that's what is really awesome about flying. Let's go ahead and do that. And finally, oh, I forgot to set this to max. There we go. Alrighty. Let's do a before takeoff checklist. We have flaps, 3 planned and 3 indicated. Takeoff data and speeds are all checked. Our weight looking at 150.0, and we have 149.7 snap trim. We're looking at 30.7% and 30.7%. Flight controls checked. ECAM memo is takeoff cabin blue. Before takeoff checklist is to the line. Okay, so we still have a headwind. Let's see. Center United 3318 is ready to taxi information Delta. Or Echo. Man.
3318. Give way to the Southwest 738, passing right to left on Phone Sierra. Runway 8, transect Charlie Sierra, Mike.
Alrighty, we'll give way to the Southwest and taxi Charlie Sierra Mike. Runway 8 for United 3318. So that's the guy behind us. We'll go ahead. Oh man, you just gotta love when Asobo. How have you guys not fixed this? Like, come on now.
And Tower Top 1623. Oh, we don't have Charlie.
Looks fantastic.
On our scenery, so is it fine if we just take Charlie for 2?
That's true.
Does not ruin my immersion at all. Seeing that. Oh, come on. Come on.
3318, traffic, no factor.
Roger, United 3318. Alright, this may be the last time I go out of Denver in a while. What is going on? Alrighty. Awesome. I have no clue how to get out of this. Alrighty. Alright, we'll stop that. That's, right? What on earth?
Frequency
12035. If I can actually get things to work. 12035. I don't know why I went this direction, but it is what it is. Uh, 124 point, no, 124, well, oh, tower is up. Okay, so I'm on tower. We got departure 124, 120.35. All right. I might have to sleep. I do not know what the sleep button is here in 2024. Wow, that is bad. They need to fix that. Yeah, and it's every single time I fly into Denver. Well, this is the first time I've ever had anything like this happen. So I have no clue what is going on. Let's see here. Salute. Well, keyboard. Shift Z. Alright, that's what's about to happen. Shift Z.
United 12, Denver Tower, clearance on request, respect UDP.
Shift Z. Alright, let's try it now. Must be that Denver tarmac. Yeah, this is super weird. Denver is, I have no clue what's going on in Denver. But yesterday when we came in, right, I was going under the bridge. They have a bridge in Denver. So I was going under the bridge, and for like no reason at all, the airplane decided that, or Microsoft decided that the bridge was not a place you could pass under. So the airplane literally teleported up in the sky, then taxied over the bridge, and then dropped to the ground. I'm like, okay, alrighty now. But Azobo, please fix Denver. I have no clue what's going on, but you guys need to fix Denver. What I may end up doing is doing what I did with San Francisco, which is uninstalling the 2024 version and only using the 2020, downloading, and instead of streaming it, the 2024 version, I'll download and install the 2020 version. Yes, it takes up space, but I'd much rather take up space on my hard drive to have a product that's not going to be weird like this is, versus streaming the product and it having all types of weird glitches that I can't solve. Alrighty, so we'll turn left on Mike here and continue on our way to runway 8. No worries, ladies and gentlemen, nothing to see here. We did not just bounce up and down for the last 5 minutes at all. There is absolutely nothing to see here. Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff. There we go. Oh, and you know, you didn't see anything. Nope. Close that door. You didn't see anything. There we go. Wow, this is a fun stream. This is a fun flight this evening.
Yeah, 566, runway 17 left, taxi via Bravo Sierra, Mike, Echo Delta.
What's Olympia, Bravo Sierra, Mike, Echo Delta, United 566.
We're good to go. Yes, sir. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. We'll just magically teleport a few dozen feet in front of us and keep on going. Let's go below the line. Runway and FMS. We have runway 8 in the box on our screen and out the window. That is checked. Minimum takeoff fuel. 16.7 required and 16.6 on board. Flight attendants notified. Engine mode.
United 3318, RNAV kidding, wind 150 at 20, catching 27, runway 8 clear for takeoff.
Ready. RNAV to Kidding, runway 8 clear for takeoff. United 3318. Excellent work, clear to go. Flight attendants notified. Engine mode is norm, and our TCAS is TARA. Before takeoff checklist is complete.
Push and start approved, push straight back, stop.
Let's go ahead and let them know we're taking the runway.
Push straight back, stop.
Turn all of our lights on. RNAV Kidding cleared for takeoff. There we go. I have departure frequency set. The volume is up. Here we go. I'll talk to you all in the air. .05 on the EPR. Half down on the side stick. Actually, we have a nice little gusty crosswind, hey? Why? Alright. Do not know what's going on. We'll go Toga. .80 checked. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Over to departure United 3318. Have a great day. Thanks for the ATC. Climb. Gotta bring it back one more. There we go. Climb set. Low departure United 3318, 7,100, climbing 10,000 on the Epke 7. Climb unrestricted, fly level 230 for United 3318. So that's unrestricted. We'll do an open climb. Flaps 1. Can barely make out the Denver airport out there. Curdy says, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, Curdy. Thank you for joining the stream this evening. Glad you were able to make it out. How are you doing this evening? You've already missed what is quite an interesting stream already. Alright, let's go ahead and go flaps up after takeoff checklist. See, after takeoff checklist, our landing gear is up. Our flaps are up, and we are pressurizing. The after takeoff checklist is complete. Excellent. We'll go ahead and throw on autopilot number 1, see if we can get any other views this evening. I'll go ahead and bring the volume down of the simulator. There we go. Seems like that should be a much more reasonable volume. Yeah, Curdy. Everyone in chat, that was a very interesting takeoff. So I don't know what happened there. I think when I was trying to taxi out, I ran the power up too high and it may have triggered the takeoff phase. I think that's what happened. And so that's why I wasn't getting any flex. At first, I thought I had advanced it into the detent, and the detent felt so soft that I didn't realize I was in the detent. So I was like, oh, maybe I didn't hit the detent. So I advanced it to toga, and I was like, nope, I definitely was in the detent. So I brought it back, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely not getting any flex numbers. So what do you do in the case of in the event that you don't have any flex numbers? You just go to toga and you keep the takeoff going. That's really what you're doing. We're through 10,000 feet, which comes up quick here in Denver. So we'll get those landing lights stowed so we don't get any aircraft vibration there. Excellent. And we'll go ahead and do that. So in about another 4,000 feet or so, we'll be through our sterile cockpit altitude. Still a little gusty out there this evening.
Copy, expect ILS 16 left approach from Kemper, and I'll follow the arrival Delta 6040.
Just realized Aviation Geek said you're driving home, so you'll just be listening till you get home. That is the safe thing to do, Aviation Geek. Don't, please drive safely. And don't drive while looking at YouTube or anything like that. There's so many times where you're driving down the highway and you look in the car next to you and you just see the person staring down at their phone. That's how accidents happen. I mean, someone who holds the sign up, right, at heavy construction zones, you of all people probably know the dangers of when people are not paying attention when driving. So definitely, please drive safe there, Aviation Geek. And I'll talk to you when you get home. Depending on where you are, I don't know if you're in Nashville driving home, but well, enjoy your nice little 1 hour drive if that's what your drive is. One thing I really like to do on a drive is just put on some of my favorite music. In fact, let's go ahead and throw on some music right now.
My airspace center is offline. Frequency change approved. Have good flight.
Alrighty, frequency changes approved for United 3318. Thanks for the ATC, really do appreciate it. 122.8.
For departure, United 566, climb to 6,600.
We'll go ahead and throw that in there, and while I am at it, let's go ahead and see if Springfield has a CTAF. I think that's the one. Oh, it does. Oh well, 19.9. So let's go ahead and put 19.9 in there, shall we? There we go. We'll pre-select that. We can ding them out of our stereo cockpit. Excellent. And while we're at it, I'll go ahead and we'll get that light off. We're flying into the sunset, which should be amazing for our arrival into Springfield. We'll see. I might change it so that we arrive more at like the duskish time frame instead of arriving in the nighttime, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll go standard. Actually, let me pull up the altimeter there as well. That's not what I wanted. Weather. They don't have an ATIS. Nope. Okay, so METAR is going to be 3008. So there we go. So we'll go 308 transition standard, set once, twice, and thrice. There we go. We can go ahead and get some en route tunes going as well. Excellent. Eddie says, yep, yours is following the flight plan just fine. Last night I did a flight plan in the Fenix, no problems. Yeah, so that's very interesting that your airplane didn't follow the flight plan. I'm very interested to know, to see what happened. Obviously, the only way for me to have seen what happened, to see what had happened, would be to if you had recorded it and uploaded it and all that jazz, and I highly doubt that happened. Why are we not getting an ETE out of this? Denver to Springfield. The progress bar is showing correctly. Everything else is showing correctly. We just don't have an ETE. That's weird. Okay, it is what it is. And it crashed. Cool. Alright, I'll go ahead and put our airports back in there. Get FlyLav working again. Alright, now we got a more accurate ET. There we go. I don't know what that was all about, but FlyLav should be back up and running now. with our real-time flight information. Oh, I'm leveling up at 230, aren't I? 350, I think, is our top altitude. So we'll go ahead and put 35 in there. Let's verify that. Yeah, 35. That looks good. So we'll go ahead and go up and climb. Like I said, Eddie, I've never really had an issue with the Fenix. In either 2024 or 2020, it's run pretty flawlessly. Does the Fenix have its own quirks? Yes, it does. As will any airplane, as will the PMDG 777, PMDG 737, INI 320, INI 330. What do they have? 300, 310. They have all their threes. Yeah, they all have their quirks, but I've never had it where it wouldn't follow the flight plan, which is starting to make me think like maybe when you changed the runway, it inserted a discontinuity after the runway. Which can sometimes happen, especially if there's no SID. Then it will just draw a straight line out for a few miles, and then there'll just be a discontinuity. And so it's up to you to go direct to some point. So that could have been what had happened. I'm taking a shot in the dark here, so I do not know. Aviation Geek says you made it home nice and safe. Excellent, Aviation Geek. Glad you made it home nice and safely there. See if we can get the setting sun here. There we go. Beautiful. You can see middle of the U.S. This is pretty much what you got. I mean, it really does look like this when you're flying over the middle of the U.S. It really is the breadbasket of America. Lots and lots and lots and lots of farmland out here. There we go. Leave it on that view for a little bit. Max Racing said, I wonder if there's any senior captains that still bid aggressive work saturated schedules. It really does depend, Max Racing. Everyone has like their own little thing. And you know, I have flown with some captains that do bid like highly aggressive work saturated schedules to I have no clue what their motivation is, but you know, there is a such thing. So like in the 121 world, you're capped at how many hours you can fly in a year. And so what a lot of people will try to do are bid trips that have a lot of flying in them. So like you have what we call hard time and soft time, right? So you get paid a certain amount a day regardless of if you fly over that. If you fly over that, you get the more. If you fly under that, then you get that little guarantee there. And so what a lot of times what people will do is they'll try to bid trips that are high hard time trips, and they'll just fly as many of those trips as they possibly can, so that by the time they get to November and December, they are limited on how many hours they can actually fly, because they've already almost reached their legal limit of how much they can fly in 365 days. And so that's kind of like the game they play there, where you get to December and all of a sudden now you can only work, 5 days in December or 6 days in December or something like that, almost guaranteeing that they're going to get Christmas off, right? So it's a little bit of a game some people like to play. I'm not really one that I don't really care to work, that hard to try to get, that the last few weeks of the year off. I'd much rather, work evenly throughout the year. That's just me. Now, I don't hold a line, so I'm on reserve, but and which it is what it is, so when that seniority comes, then eventually I'm going to be a line holder, and as a first officer, I kind of just bid short, sweet trips, because I didn't want to work, crazy long trips. Just short, sweet trips. You're in, you're out 1 or 2 days later, nothing too crazy, and holding weekends off, which was absolutely amazing. But he says, yeah, it's only been in 2024. In 2020 it acts great. That's very interesting, Eddie. I have not seen that happen in 2024, and like I said, I've been almost exclusively flying in 2024 for the last few months, for several months now, and I haven't had any issue. I know a lot of streamers have been out there, and they've been back and forth between 2020 and 2024, because 2024 is still, it's going through its growing pains, right? Like, you saw what happened in Denver there, right? So and I don't get that in 2020. Like, there's none of this weird, graphical glitches in 2020 when I fly in Denver. It's only in 2024. So clearly there's something happening with the streamed version of that airport that needs to be fixed, because the downloaded version of that airport that I fly in 2020 works perfectly fine. And like I said, I might have to go in and do what I did with San Francisco, which is cancel the streaming version of the airport and only download the 2020 version of the airport, because they're exactly the same airport. Asobo did nothing different other than saying it's in 2020, so we'll put it in 2024. That's literally all they did. So maybe that will fix it. I'm gonna have to test that out. Maybe if I get some time tomorrow, I go back on call tomorrow. So maybe if I get some time tomorrow, I'll try to test that out by not doing a streamed version. Sounds like we've leveled off in cruise here. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Then I realized it was in that view. There we go. That's the one I wanted. And just using the 2020 version, because like I said, I think they're exactly the same. I don't think Asobo went over and did upgraded the texture resolution or modified anything in any sort of way. So Maybe that's gonna be the key. I have no clue. Aviation Geek says I have been to Springfield, Missouri. I got my Oh, you got your CDL there. I didn't know you were a CDL driver. Aviation Geek. Yeah, that's kind of cool to hear. Do you use your CDL often to make commerce happen across America? I know that could be kind of a hard gig there. It's very much like living a pilot's life. I'm not gonna lie, where you have to have a logbook, and you have hours that you have to take mandatory rests, right? Like you have rest requirements and all that stuff. As a CDL driver, trekking across America, and of course you're on the road all the time. So it can very much be like living a pilot's life there. Max Reese says it takes years to truly understand the contract and bidding system. It really does. So 100% I don't think anyone's ever going to understand the bidding system. And we have IT people that literally that's their whole job. Is you can call them and be like, hey, this is what I'm looking for this month when I bid, what's going to be the best strategy so that I can get what I'm looking for, and they'll give it their the good old college try. But a lot of times even they don't know how the system fully works. So it really is. It really is kind of hard to figure out what you're going to get and what's going to happen. Long gone are the days of you go into your base, you pick up a paper bid packet, and you look at what they call lines. And it's literally, you have line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, so on and so forth. And you pick which line you want to fly, and that line had X amount of trips, and it had the trips right there on the line that you would be flying, versus a bidding system that has trips that it needs to staff, and it figures out how to assign those trips based on what all the people who have preferences want to do. So it really can be a hit or miss type of thing there. So even the gurus don't always know the correct way to bid sometimes. That's for sure. Is Ready Reserve Wrap as common at the main lines as it is at the regionals? I have not run into a single friend at any airline that's not a regional that sits Ready Reserve. Don't know if that's like maybe like some airline out there might have Ready Reserve, but that really I've only heard at the regional level. I really, since most of my buddies have moved on to different airlines across the U.S., I haven't really heard of any of them having to sit Ready Reserve, or Ready Reserve being a thing in the contract. I wouldn't quote me on this, Max Racing, but I would say that's mostly a regional thing, as the mainline carriers seem to not need to have Ready Reserves. It's not nearly that crucial. And to be honest, even at the regionals, I don't really think having Ready Reserves is that crucial. He says, right, it must be messing some things up. LOL, when I set up my flight plan. Yeah. So you said you said only in 2024. Does it happen every time, or is it more hit or miss whether that happens? Because if it happens every time, then it definitely seems like there's something wrong with the Fenix software. If it's only happening once in a while, then it may be user error. But I really wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to tell you without knowing all the specifics of your situation there. But I mean, it's been working flawlessly for me since I've moved over to 2024, which is one of the reasons why I pretty much fly 2024 aircraft. So the 319 2021 or obviously in 2024 was the first airliner we got in 2024. Then of course we have the INI 320 and 321, which, like I said, I really do need to take it out for a test drive since Sim Update 2, because I think they did a lot of updates to it. But I wasn't too thrilled the last time I test flew it in 2024. I've flown the 330, which I really did. I like a lot. The thing with the INI builds aircraft is it runs off of a Honeywell suite versus a Thales suite. So the FMS acts ever so slightly different than a Thales suite, which is what the Fenix operates on. So a lot of people may notice that the what are we doing here? Didn't we just make a right turn and make a left turn? Okay. I do not know what that was all about. Why was Gator an overfly? See, some of that stuff is just like weird. Why is Gator an overfly point? That makes no sense. And it's here too. You have Gator as an overfly. Why? It's small stuff like that like, yeah, and I've noticed that too on a few arrivals in the Fenix, that it have certain fixes, overflies, and you're like, why is this an overfly point? It should be a flyby point, not an overfly point. Because then you get what happened here, which is it has to fly over the waypoint and then come back and re-intercept the course that it would have flown otherwise. That's silly. So something funny is going on in the coding of the software there. Otherwise, the weather's good. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the fast seatbelt sign there. There we go. 240 miles to the top of drop there. You used to drive 18-wheelers, aviation gig. Right on. Right on. I know now more than ever, there's been a very high demand for 18 like the big rig truckers. A very competitive pay. Very competitive days off and stuff like that. Because... I mean, to be fair, truckers make the economy move, man. All those products that we like to buy and have it, same day shipped and stuff like that. That's all truckers making that work. There's a huge need for truckers in the industry right now. So hopefully, I don't know when you did it, but hopefully the pay and the time was good for you while you were doing it. You said we had an electronic logbooks. Okay. Was it like on an iPad or something like that, where you because I know a lot of times you see like 18-wheelers pulled over to the side of the road, and it's like some sort of enforcement agency that only deals with the truckers, and I know for sure they want to look at your logbooks and stuff like that, to make sure everything is in order. You've been taking the rest at the required times you're supposed to, and hopefully the electronic logbook keep track of all your rest and duty times and stuff like that, and time on the road, off the road, and stuff like that, because that'd be really helpful to have. And that's the great thing about technology. You know, a lot of things are electronic now, and you don't have to worry nearly as much about adding up times and doing addition and subtraction and trying to figure things out, because the electronic logbook does it all for you. So that's absolutely amazing. ERJ 145 would be nice to fly. It would be nice to fly. Is there one in Flight Simulator 2024? I don't know if there's one. I thought I'd seen a preview of one. Someone's making a 145. I feel like someone is making a 145. Hopefully it's good, because we have the 170, 175 that came out in Flight Simulator 2020. However, I don't have it, one. And two, one of the reasons I don't have it is it came out as an incomplete add-on. So I don't even think it has VNav on it. I know it's one of the things on their to-do list is to implement a VNav system and stuff like that. But I think when it first launched, it didn't even have a fully functioning FMS. I think it just had a pretty basic FMS. And so it's like, well, is it really worth it for you to spend money on a product that's not even complete? Yes, over time, it will be complete. But is it really worth your money to go out and do that? I don't know. For me, it's not, which is why I never did it. And as someone that has a few friends that did and still do fly the 190, 195, whatever it is, where I could actually, use them as kind of a reference to be like, hey, is this right? Is this wrong? What am I doing? Like, how should I be flying this? Yada, yada, yada. Like, I don't want to get a half-baked product and then, like, have them look at how I'm setting everything up and flying the aircraft, and they're like, well, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. So I'd much rather get into an airplane. I don't need every single system modeled to the exact molecule, right? I don't need the bleed air system to be modeled to the point where one molecule of air enters the pack and that molecule then flows. No, I don't need all of that. But if I press the pack on button and the pack comes on and I'm actually getting a noticeable change in temperature or bleed air pressure or anything like that, stuff like that makes a lot more sense. But I don't need all the crazy things, right? I don't need to have 90 different electrical failures simulated, because let's be honest, sitting up here, how often am I actually failing things? Not Max Racing, that is not your command to start asking for failures, Max Racing. That's not going to happen tonight. No. That's not happening. But how often are you sitting up here failing the weirdest electrical thing you can find to see how many other systems it's going to trip? You don't really do that, right? So, if you give the community a good looking model, so that's the thing. I think there's a few things that the community likes to see in a product. One of them being a good looking model, systems enough that you can pretend that it's a real airplane, and an FMS that programs pretty similarly to the real airplane and will also do your LNAV, VNAV calculations like it would in real life, so that you're not having to sit up here at 35,000 feet and say, oh, I have 300 miles left to go and I need to be at 10,250 knots 30 miles out from the airport. How steep should I, at a 2,500 foot per minute descent at a ground speed of no, we don't want to do that. I did that at the regional. I don't need to do that. I had enough time figuring out how to calculate ground speed into distance over time and figuring out what my descent rate needs to be. I don't need to do that anymore. I'm done. I've forgotten that formula so wholly that I really don't care to remember it. But also, most of the flight simming community, they don't know all of those formulas, right? They don't know all those formulas to use to figure out when you need to descend and at what rate you need to descend at. That's why having a pretty complete FMS is such a big deal to a lot of people in the flight sim community, because once everything's programmed, you can kind of let the computer figure out all those calculations, and you just kind of fly with the computer tells you to fly. Which I feel like is the average flight simulator. I feel like that's the average flight simmer. So that's just my 2 cents. Rants over. There we go. No, Max Racing, we're not doing any failures. Sorry, bud. Eddie says, no, just hit or miss, and not every time. That's very interesting then. That is very interesting then. Have you tried uninstalling it and then reinstalling it via the Fenix app, Fenix installer, whatever it's called, and seeing if that fixes whatever it is? Because that's very interesting. That is hit or miss. Not every time, just hit or miss. And only in 2024. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And you said basically like an iPad aviation geek. Yeah. I figured that's what it would probably be. My assumption being, since it's tablet based, it can electronically record and also transmit that data to the company or whoever the owner of the company is. I don't know. I know a lot of times you can be your own owner / driver, so I guess that'd be you. But I would assume that if it was tablet based, then you could send that information to the company, and the company would have it for their records as well. Oh, you were talking about the ERJ 145 in real life. It would be nice to fly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a different airplane. So just like the 170, 175, 190, and 195, it's got the ram horns, they call it, which is I guess a different feeling. I've always heard it's the way they made the yoke, like it doesn't turn about an axis like a Boeing yoke would, right? The pivot point is slightly lower on the control column, so you're more or less bumping the yoke left and right. It's a different feeling. I've heard from people who've flown it, but once you get used to it, you kind of like it. The most difficult part is a crosswind from the opposite side of the aircraft that you sit on. So if you're a captain, a left crosswind is going to be more difficult, and if you're a first officer, wait, did I say that correctly? If you're a captain, a right hand crosswind, so a crosswind from the right, a little bit more difficult. If you're a first officer, a crosswind from the left, a little bit more difficult, because with that ram horn being the way it is, you're having to, as it was explained to me, pull up on it, on the yoke. So you're kind of doing an unnatural pull to dip the wing into the wind. So it is definitely an interesting airplane to fly for sure. And it has a lot of cool little features, like it has the control locks on it, which is kind of cool to see when you're taxiing out behind one and they do their control check. Because it's always the control column's always locked in the down position until they do their control check. So that's kind of cool. And then the vortilerons, the little, I don't even know what to call them. It's the yellow things at the end of the wing, the vortilerons, or vortex generators, to help airflow over the ailerons there. It's a very, very unique airplane. And then you got the extended range ones or long range ones. They have a long range version which has like an extra fuel tank and winglets as well. So There are some of them out there that have winglets. I know a guy who flies the ERG 145 and makes more money than the guys at Mainline. I would not doubt that with the way the industry is right now. Aviation Geek, when that pilot shortage hit, and it hit pretty hard, you know, I'm not going to go into whether there was really a pilot shortage or not. In my opinion, there was a pilot shortage, and obviously it showed. And obviously it shows with how much regional pilots nowadays are getting paid, which is, I do not think that's a bad thing at all. Long gone are the days of the $19 an hour regional pilot, right? Like, that used to be a real thing. There used to be pilots out there making $19 an hour, you know, flying only 72 hours a month. You do the math, you're not making that much money. I'm very much glad that day, that era of aviation is behind us. I hope we don't go back there, because that's gonna just restart the cycle all over again. That's how we ended up getting in this pilot shortage nonsense to begin with. People would look at and make long-term goals, right? They weren't thinking short-term goals, they were thinking long-term goals. They say, yeah, I want to be a pilot, but then they look at original pilots and how much they make, and they say, nope, okay, so you're telling me I'm gonna get myself in $100,000 of debt, and then be in that debt for the next decade of my life, because I'm not gonna be able to actually earn a good living wage until that first decade of my life is over with. So now you're just carrying this debt with you through life. And a lot of people said, no, that's not a financially sound decision for me to make. And instead, they would go off and do other things, like be doctors or nurses, or, you know, truck driver. I mean, even truck drivers is an industry where you don't have to put up $100,000 to start working to make some money for yourself. And then, obviously, there were some airlines out there that were not helping the cause, right? You had Gulfstream International Airlines, which is now a much better airline than what it used to be. It used to be Gulfstream International. Now it's Silver Airways, right? So Gulfstream International used to be what we call pay to play. And with that pay to play, you are essentially paying the airline to go into a Beech 1900 and log SIC time. That's essentially what you were doing, and it's like, that's another way of paying more money to just make it a little further ahead in the industry. You know, that's I am definitely glad that that day is long gone. Should we get back to that day, we will end up recreating that same cycle over again, because people don't want to. People are smart. They're getting smarter with their money, and they don't want to have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or $100,000. I mean, typically it's around $100,000 to get all your ratings, right? Just to come out and make $20,000 a year. Really? No, you couldn't afford to pay back any of the if you did take out loans, you couldn't afford to pay back any of the loans you took out on that. So yeah, I'm glad that's over with. Hopefully it never comes back. And I am certainly glad that there are regional pilots out there that are making a little bit of coin versus what it used to be, 10, 20 years ago. Send me something on Discord and the DMs. Okay. Oh, okay. The only thing you had to do was stay with the company for a year, and I didn't have to pay them back for the school. Oh, okay. So it was pretty much like a 1-year contract, essentially, where you give them a year of your time, they send you to school to get your CDL. That's pretty cool. Let's see. I do not have Discord up. It's gonna boot up here. Here, let's go ahead and get Discord up and going. Let's see, crosswind landings at Norwich on a 145. Let's see what this is all about. This is a short. I'm gonna silence the audio because I don't know what the audio is gonna be. Let's see what this is all about, shall we? Yeah, so we were talking about crosswind landings, and they can be really weird in a 145. It's just the way the yoke is designed makes it a little bit of a bear, but that was a good landing. I don't care what anyone says, that was still a good landing. You see that wing dip right there? I guarantee you that was, they either had a gust and they lost it, and that's why that wing dipped right there. I almost guarantee you they lost their little dip, or their little gust factor there. You said the audio is just the aircraft. I would figure as much, but you never know if someone had like, you know, a song in there that some artist is going to say is their intellectual property. Uh-oh. What's going on here? The stream is still up, right? No, that's weird. What's going on? The stream is still up there, right? YouTube is doing something weird. Is it going in and out? Or... that's weird. Is it going in and out? I feel like it may be going in and out. I think it's going in and out. Let me refresh here. Okay. I have no clue what that was about. The stream just, I don't know, decided to quit there for a little bit. I have no clue. I have no clue. But hopefully it wasn't too bad. So the stream came back online. Yeah, I have no clue. I just looked down and YouTube Studio said my stream was over, even though it still was showing that My stream was going. That was weird. Audio and stream sounds fine to me. Okay. Excellent. Where are we in relation to our top of descent? We are getting there. So one thing I kind of want to do is let's go ahead and let's do a fix info over Springfield SGF. Where's the F? There it is. We want a 35-mile radius. There we go. In fact, if I do this, full heading, place that a beam in there. Seriously? No. Oh, sorry. No, this is what I want. There we go. Place that in there and do a insert. I don't know why that beam. Delete that beam. I don't know why that's in there. But now we have a pseudo waypoint. Now I can do my pseudo waypoint and say 250 knots and 10,000 feet. There we go. We can insert that. Descent. Excellent. Insert that as well. And now I can go back here and manage this. And we have a pretty good VNAV. I have never seen what this is. I would like to clear this. Now, there we go. Oh, don't do that. I don't know how to get rid of this arc now, but it is what it is. Now we have positive VNAV. Let's go ahead and clear out this company page here, or this company message. Nope. I want AOC menu. Messages, United Ops, and no ADC required. Excellent. Enter our destination data. So it'll be a visual backed up with the RNAV GPS. So what we'll do is under progress, we want Springfield, runway 32. Go ahead and insert that. Point 3 is going to be our RNP capability since it's just a GPS approach. Let's go to flight plan. Need to verify the fixes on it real quick. It's not that many, so it should be fairly easy, fairly quickly. Let's see. We have zoom you all the way in and plan mode. There's a restriction 35 miles from the airport at 10,250 knots. That's just for planning purposes there. Let's plan on doing the RNAV GPS visual backed up with the RNAV GPS. That's going to be 28 October 22 12-4. That looks good. We have Retta at Appel at about 2,900. That's about 5 miles, and it should be a 3-degree glide slope. So I got 5 miles, 3-degree glide slope to the runway there. That looks good. The missed approach will be a climb straight ahead to Jogpoo, and we will hold. So straight ahead to Jogpoo and hold. That all looks good there. Our performance page, let's go in and look at our weather here. Still a tailwind on 1-4, so what we'll do is we'll keep using 3-2. Weather is 350 at 5, so yeah, 3-2 would be the preferred runway. So 350 at 5. The temperature is 17 degrees, and the altimeter is 3009er. So slight rise in the altimeter there. Our minimums are on a VNAV 1660. We'll go ahead and put that in there. We'll use full flaps, a little auto brakes. Let's see. I think it's is it an 8,000 foot runway? Yeah, 8,000 foot runway. So I think that qualifies for a standard landing assessment. Let me bring you back up and out. Okay, now. Really? It be like that? Okay, there we go. Do not know why that was like that. Let's go ahead and put 10,000 in there. And we'll manage that up. There we go. I will come down here. Let's look at our... where's that button? Boop. There we go. Arrival performance. 3-2. Do not need you. Apply the METAR. Our landing weight, we're looking at 140... 3.2? No. Should be lower than that. Let's see. We'll land at 9.5. So another 600, 700, yeah. 700 pounds. So let's just call it 142. How about that? I'm lazy. So let's, oh yeah, let's call it 142.2. Yeah, we'll call it 142-ish. 142.5. Enter that. Auto brakes low. Full flaps. So you see, we currently need more runway than what we have. So we go auto brake medium. That will be just enough. So we'll do medium auto brakes. How about that? We should be more than within our limits here, but why not for the sake of making the data work there. Excellent. So we have that. This number is woefully off. We're going to land with 11.0 and we're already down at 10.1. Computer, how am I gaining fuel? That's what I would like to know. How am I adding fuel? Something is not working correctly in this where I'm gaining fuel. Well, it is what it is. Well, let's go ahead and brief up our Ghost FO over here. Are you ready for a briefing? Yep. Excellent. What are your threats? Well, threats is it's a fairly short runway, and that's probably the biggest threat there. I would agree. We don't have really any ATC services. That could be another threat, so we'll have to vector ourselves onto the approach here. Let's plan on doing a visual backed up by the RNAV to runway 32. That's going to be 28 October 22. Data 12 chart 12-4 dated 28 October 22. The final approach course is 319. Appel is at 2900. Our DA is 1660 for LNAV VNAV. Our touchdown zone elevation 1268. And the MSA, the highest one is 4,600 feet, and that looks like that's that's pretty much all quadrants around. So you have the inner quadrant and the outer quadrant up to 30 miles is 4,600 feet. So that's what we'll do. 4,600 feet is the highest MSA around the airport. We'll use full flaps, medium olive brakes if we need to go miss. Plan on doing a soft go around, climb to 3,000 directed jogpoo, and we will hold. None of these little notes here apply to us, so that is fine. There's a PAPI on the left. There's really no approach lighting other than runway and identifier lights. So we'll see if Microsoft Flight Simulator got that correct. And when we do land, plan a left-hand turn on, I don't think I'll be able to do it, but hotel. If not, we will have to roll all the way down to Whiskey. We'll take Whiskey and Foxtrot to the terminal. I don't know. I'll park it somewhere down here. And we shall call that an evening. Excellent. Anything else you'd like to add to our briefing? Nope. Excellent. I guess the big thing is... Do I want to do a day arrival or a night arrival? I guess we could do a night arrival, right? We haven't done one of those in a minute. So let's go ahead and do a night arrival, night landing into Springfield. This would be pretty realistic, as this would be like a terminating flight, a flight where when the aircraft got there, it's done for the night, right? Most of my streams are pretty much in the middle of the day, so you know, you're not really terminating an aircraft in the middle of the day, but we can simulate doing one of those. Excellent. VNAV is trying to do VNAV things. So pretty much once we get to about this fix here, I'll turn us on a downwind and take us out and around, and we'll come back in. And that should be perfectly fine for what we're gonna do this evening. Aviation Geek says audio. Okay, yeah. It looks like we are back and good to go. I asked the waitress how much tea age I drank today at Waffle House, and she said, oh, yes. Yeah, you gotta be, you gotta be careful of that tea intake. Growing up, I used to work at a McDonald's, and back in the day when they had supersize, if I am aging myself, let me know. But yes, back in the day when I worked at McDonald's, they had supersize. And I don't know if anyone knows how big a supersize cup is, but it is a massive. And what they would do when they brewed their tea was they would take the way they sweeten their tea. Okay, so you brew the tea first, and then it's hot, right? So you can't add sugar into cold tea. It's just not going to work. Anyone from the South will tell you, don't add sugar to cold tea. You just have sugar crystals floating on water at that point. And so what they would do while the tea was still hot is, and I kid you not, McDonald's had a massive bag of sugar, like massive. I'm talking like you need a forklift to move this bag, right? And so you would take that supersized cup and you would dip it into the sugar, fill that cup up, and you would pour it into the sweet tea. And that is how you made McDonald's sweet tea. It was so much sugar in there. Absolutely insane. How much sugar they had. We're transition. Oops, nope, that's not what I want. I want this. Oh, nope. 3009er, I think it was. We get you on. Make sure we don't have any odd status messages. Get our drag going out. Clear you. Performance approach page. 3009er. So descent checklist. Altimeters is 3009er. Auto brake is medium. Perf approach page is set. Arrival briefing review no star. RNAV backed up with visual backed up with the RNAV after runway 32, and the status is checked. Descent checklist is complete. Let's go ahead and dial down the brightness here just a wee bit. There we go. And we can do the same thing over here. And because I don't need you, what I can do is I'll just hide you so we don't have you glaring in my face. Excellent. Beautiful night arrival coming into Springfield here. That's not Springfield. I don't know what that is, but I mean, it's a beautiful arrival nonetheless. Why are the cabin lights on? Let's go ahead and turn those off, shall we? Sim settings, cabin. Boop. 0. There we go. There we go. Now our cabin is off. Not blinding me. You're drinking water and Gatorade. Gator Light. Is that Gator? Is like a version of Gatorade? I'm guessing. Replace to replace your electrolytes. I'm assuming. He said, I feel a butter coming even though I have a shorter runway to play with. You never know. Every landing is unique and different. And that's the thing. A lot of times, people land and, they have a terrible landing and they think about it for, the rest of the trip. And you're just like, hey, that landing was like, oh, it was 2 days ago. Why are you still thinking about that? No one cares about that. You're the only one up here that's caring about that landing. We're 11 for 10. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pre-select 250 knots. There we go. And I will take the speed over now. We have the Alt Star. Beautiful. In fact, you know what? We'll keep it up at about 300 knots until I'm ready to descend below 10,000 feet. So what we'll do is we'll prepare them. Flight attendants, prepare for landing. So we'll prepare them. We'll ding them. We'll get all of our lights going on. And that'll be that. Is it 19.9? Is it really? Yeah, 19.9 is the CTAF there. All right, so what I'll do now is I'll pull the heading. We'll round it out to about a 130. So we'll close a little bit of distance there. I'll go Retta, radial N. There's no speed limit exceeded. We're above 10,000 feet. Shut your mouth. Let's see. I want direct to Retta, radial N. And I'll hold that for now. We won't activate it. I'll just hold it for now as we get closer and closer to that intercept point there. Then I'll do that. So red is at above. I can't see what that says. 3,200. So I got alt. I'll do 4,000 initially. Excellent. Let's go ahead and get rid of, we'll pause our in-flight music here. Excellent. And for the sake of me remembering, we will go ahead and the sim, I guarantee you the sim is going to pause. We'll go ahead and start a recording. There you go. Oh, the sim did not freeze. Excellent. And we are recording the landing replay. You said you have to replace the electrolytes. I'm probably gonna pop some popcorn and then after your stream, call it a night. That sounds like an amazing night right there. And there you go. Pop some popcorn, watch a little bit of some landing replays, whether the landing is terrible or good, who cares, right? And call it an evening. That sounds like an amazing night there, Aviation Geek. I might even text Mrs. Grey Eagle and be like, hey, can you pop some popcorn so I can have some after the stream? We did just get a massive box of popcorn, to be fair. We are solidly, I don't even know if I'm going to be here for Memorial Day, but guess what? We are solidly stocked for Memorial Day. We have the chips. We have the solo cups. We have the wine, the beer, We have all the things you need for a Memorial Day party. Although we're not hosting a party, we're actually going to one, but we have our part of the thing we need to bring all stocked up and ready to go here. So we are all ready for Memorial Day festivities. The unofficial official beginning of summer in the US, if you will. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, what type of party are you putting? 36 steaks? What type of party are you putting on for Memorial Day? I need to go over to where you're at. Is that Springfield? I feel like that's Springfield right here. This may be the airport right here. If that's so, I should probably slow down. Now would be the optimal time to slow down. Yeah, 100%. That's Springfield. All right, let's go ahead and do this. We'll slow down. We'll get it to 250 knots, and then we'll do an open descent. I'll probably bring the speed brakes out now that we're or once we get to 250 knots. In fact, you know what? I might slow it up just ever so slightly, 240 knots. That way, at 250 knots, I will pull an open descent. We won't get the engine spooling up to stabilize at 240 or 250 knots. And we also won't bust the speed limit. So there we go. Alrighty, good enough for me. We'll go ahead and do an open descent, and I'll bring the speed brakes out. We're in a 320, so remember, in a 320, you're only gonna get half speed brake deployment. So you look right here, that's just half speed brake deployment, because the autopilot is on. Now, when you turn the autopilot off, it will go to full deployment. In fact, I'll turn off the autopilot right now and watch the speed brakes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. See how the speed brakes all of a sudden popped all the way up to full deployment there? Alrighty. And then I'll turn the autopilot back on, and it went back down to half. They're going back down to half. So that's just it's only on the 320 series. Just the 320. Not the 319, not the 321. Just the 320 that it does that. I have no clue why. Obviously, the engineers at Airbus know something that we don't know about when the autopilot's on and your speed brakes are all the way deployed on a 320, means not so good things aerodynamically. So obviously, they did it for a reason. So there we go. A massive party. Gonna be... Oh, it's gonna be a work party again. Oh, wow. Okay, that'll be cool. That'll be really cool. Yeah. So, I mean, you brought the steaks, man. So everyone else has to bring all the sides. I don't think anyone's in the Springfield area. I'm not even going to bother making calls unless I hear someone. And that'll be that, but I'm not too worried about it. Remind me when I do the replay to turn the cabin back to 0 again so we don't get the cabin lights glaring in the window when we do the replay. Alrighty. So red is at 3,200. So I will go ahead and do 3,200, and let's go ahead and, in fact, I won't even do a radial, and let's go, well, we'll erase that. Let's go direct to Reta, just period. Excellent. We'll go direct to Reta, and then I'm going to activate our approach phase. Now we have alt final, app nav. There we go. Beautiful. I'll bring the speed brakes in. Once we level off, I'll begin that slow down as well. You're probably going to have tons of steaks and hamburgers and hot dogs. I'm ready for Labor Day. Wow, you're ready for summer to be over already. You're not just ready for Labor Day. You're ready for Memorial Day. You're ready for Labor Day as well. Right on, man. Right on. So we're about to level off here at 3,200. That's the crossing altitude at Retta. We'll go ahead and now begin our slowdown. We'll do 210 knots initially. Let's see, performance bridge page. Okay, it's activated. Sweet. I didn't know if that was active or not, activated or not. Look at this beautiful, beautiful city lights out here this evening. Wow, absolutely amazing. If you stay prepared, hey, Aviation Geek, I am 100% with you. If you stay prepared, you don't have to get prepared. That is quite a saying right there. We're VFE next minus 10 flaps. 1 speed is verified. We're turning on our final approach course here. Go ahead and arm our spoilers because why not? I keep 210 knots here just a little longer. Once I see that brick moving, then I'm probably just gonna go ahead and I'll bring it back to 170 knots manually, and once I get flaps 2, then I'll manage our speed and let everything come on in nice and easy. You have some very philosophical sayings there, Aviation Geek. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. Yeah, that is very much true. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and begin that slow down to 170 knots. That way we can get flaps 2 out. The brick is coming in. It's coming in faster than I thought it would. I might go ahead and just lower the gear now. No? Okay. Yeah, let's lower the gear so I can keep that speed coming on down. Flaps 2, speed is verified. There we go. We have final atmos approach altitude is 3,000 feet. 3,000 is set. Flaps 3, speed verified. And flaps full, speed verified. Before landing checklist altimeters, we have 3009er and 2440. Engine mode is norm. Landing gear is down and 3 green. ECAM memo, landing no blue. Before landing checklist is complete. I'll go ahead and set these lights to dim. Don't need bright lights in my face. Oh, Flight Sim did get it right. Excellent. They only have the runway and identifier lights. That makes it super fun. I'm going to turn the sim volume up here. I will see you all on the ground. Didn't hear a 1,000-foot call out, but we are stable. Forgot to put us on CTAF there. Excellent. Approaching 500 feet. I'm going to take the autopilot off.
100 above.
Continuing.
minimum. $100. 50. 40. 10. 5.
Alright, deployed. Little nose up there right towards the end. I kind of did that little thing where I pulled too hard. We're 60. Auto brakes are coming off. Let's see. I think I made the taxiway that I planned on. Hotel. Yeah, hotel is this next left. Excellent, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Springfield, Missouri. A nice little dusk arrival here. You can still kind of see a little bit of that orange from the sunlight. Absolutely beautiful. All right, we are clear of the runway. We can go flaps up. There's our terminal way down there. Get rid of our flight directors. Excellent. Landing lights can come off. And let's go ahead and get our APU going. Excellent. Not the smoothest landing, but I will take that every day of the week. Had a little nose pop there, but we didn't, unlike the other stream a few days ago, we didn't bounce it. So that's the key there. No bounce, just a slight little nose pop up there, which you just kind of push the stick down and get that nose going the correct way. Alrighty. We'll make the right hand turn here on Foxtrot. And I have no clue where United parks in real life, so we'll just come in and park at whatever gate seems convenient. We'll probably go off to the right here. No, I should probably actually tell GSX where I'm parking. Let's see. I'm glad you're very positive about my landings there. Aviation gate buttery smooth. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Let's call it. Let's just go around to 7. How about that? Yeah, let's go 7. So we'll go here, and of course, gate 7. Nope. Okay, well, it didn't ask me what airline, but that's okay. Generic airline it is. Alrighty. Here is gate 7. I have no clue what's going on with the scenery. It used to not be like this, so something clearly has gone on since the last time I've flown out of here. That's quite alright. This often happens, especially with like a lot of default airports in Flight Simulator. You get like the detached jetways. It didn't look like this the last time I flew out of here, so I don't know if something happened. I got something conflicting or what's going on. Dude. There we go. Got the proper X there. Is that the proper X? He's not. He's not letting it go. Alright. Move up just a little bit more. There we go. Now he let the X go. Alright, there we go. I can't be negative about a landing if I don't fly in the sim. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I am not gonna blame you if you were negative about it. The fasten seatbelt sign is off. We can turn off engine 1 and then engine 2. The APU is up and available, so that's good. We'll go back up to the overhead. The fuel pumps can come off. Excellent. The beacon light can come off. And yeah, I think that's everything. Let's go ahead and check our fluid levels one more time. Engines look good. Hydraulics all look good. Status, no weird class 2 messages down here, and we haven't leaked any oxygen. Let's do a shutdown checklist. The parking brake is on and checked. The engine masters are off. Engine mode norm. Speed brake disarm, our radar is off, wind shear PWS is off, our fuel pumps are all off. Slides for disarm, DPU is on. Shutdown checklist is complete. We can go ahead and get that bleed air going, and we'll watch the. I'm not going to turn the lights on. That's way too much work there. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Springfield. A nice little night arrival into Missouri here. Got passengers starting their deboarding process. Let's go ahead, get a little bit of music going while we wait for them to deplane. I can go ahead and end our recording here. We'll stop that recording. Excellent. I'm going to make sure it says it's saved. There we go. And let's go back here. Let's get rid of VetSim. V-Pilot, thank you for your service, even though no one was online. Absolutely beautiful. There we go. Kind of like, if you don't vote, don't complain. Hey, I mean, I say the same thing too. If you don't vote, you can't complain, you know. And you had the opportunity to have your voice heard and who you want to be your representative, and you chose not to take part in that. So it is what it is. Apparently, Ledham is who's going to service us up here, because that is a major provider in Springfield, Missouri. Well, that's a good thing. Aviation Key. My brain won't let me complain. That is a good thing. Is several years ago, Mrs. Grey Eagle and I were down on vacation on the beach somewhere, and you know, they had the beach chairs out and all that stuff that you can rent or whatever. And we were going back to the room, and I looked at the back of one of the beach chairs, and one of the beach chairs said, "I can't complain." And I just sat there and I looked at it for a second, and I said, "Well, yeah, I can. I'm a pilot. That's my job." So that's which is a factual statement. As a pilot, it's your job to complain about everything all the time. It's so funny because I'm so programmed. I'm thinking about the landing. I'm so programmed in the Phoenix to get that flare in. I really need to pull that stick back, especially in the 319. A little bit in the 320. Really don't do it in the 321. That's why we keep getting that nose pop on landing. Is that's me jerking that stick back to try to get a flare in. So that's something I gotta deprogram myself from doing. Because in the real airplane, I don't do that. And in the real airplane, it very much feels very natural. It's a very, very slight pullback on the side stick, and that nose will slowly come on up. You'll be in a flare attitude, and then you just gotta let it settle on the ground. That's really all you gotta do is bring the nose up a little bit, and then just let it settle on the ground. And that's one of the things I do like about the Airbus is it does land really well. Even a bad landing feels like a good landing in an Airbus. Thank you. Camp Jack Flight Sim, wow, it's been quite a minute since I've seen one of your streams there. I know you've been very, very, very busy with work there, Camp Jack Flight Sim. He says, hello, sir, checking in, exhausted after a work trip. I know you have been working quite hard. Hopefully, I can't wait to get to see you back streaming again, Camp Jack Flight Sim. Great to see you. See you on stream. Thank you very much. If you probably know as well, Aviation Geek. I think he came over from your channel there, Camp Jack Flight Sim. So, if you guys get a chance, go ahead and check out Camp Jack Flight Sim. He's been busy working as of right now, but I'm sure he's going to get back to streaming as soon as he possibly can, and I can't wait to catch up on when he's able to stream. I know a lot of times I'm not able to make your streams there live, Captain Jack Flight Sim, but trust me, I do go back and I do watch your streams when I can, either on an overnight or if I get some time at home. I try to go back and watch them. So there we go. Thank you very much, Captain Jack Flight Sim, for stopping by, saying hello. Really do appreciate it. Says, thank you, sir, back as soon as possible. Hopefully so. I've seen some of the pictures. In fact, Aviation Geek sent me a private message of when you came to Nashville a few months ago. It was, right, when you went to Nashville. And he has the video of you landing, obviously, from the outside, and you have the video of you landing from the inside. So I thought that was really cool. I didn't realize that was him that took that video. So absolutely amazing. I told Aviation Geek I'll have to PM him the next time I get a really good Nashville overnight, and we can hang out and plane spot for a little bit and just have a good old time there. Let's see, they're done on the outside. Okay, maybe that looks weird with the dark cabin here. What we'll do is we'll get you going. There we go. And what I'll do is dismiss. Oh, only a few more passengers left, so we'll let that last passenger get off, and then we will just go ahead and okay, they're done. Flight attendant disappeared. That last passenger is off. We will close that door. Let's go ahead and get into the ready state. We'll set that as our active. You say send me a picture in Discord. Okay, and the DMs. Let me see right here. Oh, the popcorn is ready. Oh, look at there. That popcorn is ready for some replays. There we go. Here, let me see if I can. There we go. Popcorn is ready. Look at that chat. Look at that chat. There we go. Popcorn ready for the replay. Why do we have... Oh, the door is open. That's probably why. Let's go ahead and close that on up. And I think... No, I got all my screens all messed up here. Okay, there we go. Sweet. Let's go ahead and load this replay. And what we'll do is we'll go to the outside. There we go. There we go. That looks like a good spot to pick up our replays from. Let's see. We'll go... I don't know. Where should we start? We'll start there. We'll start there and then we'll switch it up to the other side. How about that? I'll bring the volume down to a less ear-shattering volume there. Excellent. I mean, the simulator at night looks absolutely beautiful. I say, Camjet Flight Sim is an awesome guy. I've spoken with him a little bit, and I can definitely tell by watching his streams, speaking with him a little bit, he's an amazing guy, and has a very cool and unique job. Let's go ahead and rewind this back here. Well, let's view this from the other side, shall we? Let's view it from back here. There we go. Some of the buildings, so it is I think the one I have is of the freeware. Oops. Oh, I took it way too far back. There we go. Sorry, I took it way too far back there. All right. There we go. Everything's kind of reconfigured. From the back, you can't tell that nose popped up on landing. This is really just the front. So you got the Nice firm touchdown. Nose popped up a little bit, but that's okay. We got it right back down, right on center line. Look at there. Yeah, let's do that. Let's switch to the drone view. Ooh, yeah, this is one of the drone views I'm trying to incorporate now. You can't see much. In terms of, because the lights are definitely giving a nice big glare there. That's okay. Nice firm main plant. Those popped up just a little bit there, but overall, right on the center line, pretty much right in the touchdown zone there. Or right near the 1,000 footers. I think a lot of that has to deal with where the pappies are here. So let's go ahead and we'll go over to the side here. All right. Alrighty. Well, that's an interesting thing. So let's do this. There we go. Oh, I think it's trying to like get the lighting from the cockpit there. Look at here. Beautiful. Wow, look at that. That is beautiful right there. How like it's the lights of the taxiways and runways kind of blur. That's his foot. Oh my gosh. Couldn't ask for a prettier scene than that right there. All right, let's do this. We'll resync that. And what we will do is we'll head back inside. Thank you. There we go. We'll reset that camera. I will turn off all these things here. We don't need the lights on anymore. Excellent. And we'll go up to the nose cam here for our final replay. There we go. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Well, while I got the replay going here, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Draco, Ed E, Max Racing, Aviation Geek, and of course the legendary Captain Jack, Flight Sim. Oh, and I almost forgot. Don't want to forget anyone. Cardi. Thank you all very much for joining the stream this evening. Really do appreciate you spending a little bit of your evening with me, making the stream such an amazing stream and growing the community to be such an amazing community. Thank you to each and every one of you. I will be gone for the weekend. I'll be coming back Monday. I'll probably pick it up from Springfield. Looking at doing some Delta Ops from Springfield to Atlanta. So that's the tentative plan right now. But until I see you all at the very next stream, please do remember to take care of yourselves and each other. Until then, I'm Grey Eagle. Peace.